Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name's Fiddle. Today I'll be showing you how I made this 1/12 globe. Don't forget to check the link in the description. That'll take you to the scavenger hunt where you can find the materials and supplies that you'll need to make this piece for yourself. To get started with this project, I grabbed all the materials that I thought I could use for this piece. I have some dowels, a toothpick, plastic ribbon spool, printer parts, and a Christmas decoration. The first thing I need to do is drill a hole straight through my ornament. My bit wasn't long enough, so I had to drill one hole one way, pull it out, and then drill the hole at the other end. Once the holes were drilled, I stuck it on a skewer to make sure 1, the hole was straight, and 2, I had something to hold on to while I was sanding. I went back and forth between sandpaper and a nail file to get all the paint off, although that red line across the center just was not going to go anywhere. Once I had it sanded good enough, I went over it with a coat of white paint. While the globe's drying, I'm going to turn my attention to the ribbon keeper. I really only need the big center ring, so I cut the sides and center off. Some good alternatives to this piece would be the rim to a plastic bowl, or the lid to a plastic bowl, or even just a strip of clear packaging plastic. My strip is about 1 inch wide, but a 1/2 inch would work well too. For the length, it needs to be able to go from one end of the globe to the other with just a little bit of space in between. My plastic strip started to crack as I was cutting it. Thankfully, I was able to make it all the way through without it breaking. The next piece I need to prepare is a pen cap. This came from one of the Dollar Tree pens with the pearls on the end of it. I need to drill a hole in the top part of the cap so my post can go through it. The next piece goes on the inside and you won't see it. Usually I use beads to fill in gaps when there's a circle, but unfortunately I didn't have any the right size for this. I had to improvise, and instead I used the push down button of a writing pen. It fills in the space of the gear so that way there's a tight fit, then the pen cap goes over top. The skewer will go all the way through the bottom and attach to the plastic ring that holds the globe. Speaking of which, we need to drill 3 holes in this piece of plastic. One close to the end, this is going to be where the bottom of the globe goes through. The next one needs to be about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch away from our first hole. This will be where we attach the stand. And for the last one, you may have to do a bit of measuring. It will be at the opposite end to hold the other post that goes through the globe. I wanted to give the globe a little bit of a 3D effect. I borrowed puffy paint from my daughter and made some mountains, though it wasn't very 3D by the time it was dry. Then it was on to painting. I used watercolor for the most part except for the brown tan color, and that was acrylic. not 100% accurate, but this is what it looks like so far. While I had the paint stuff out, I went ahead and painted all the metal bits metal colors. First, I coated everything with a layer of the black metallic that I used for the telescope. Then I went over a few of the pieces with the bronze color. Once everything was dry, I could start putting it together. Starting with the base, I grabbed my dowel and the push button from the pin and slid it over it. The globe needed to be a little bit taller than what I originally planned for, so I added another stack of gears. These are just like the ones that I used for the telescope. Next, I glued on the bottom big gear. Speaking of gears, I'm almost out. I think these were my last few, so I'm gonna have to find me another printer soon. I'm sure I'll come across one eventually. The next piece to put on is the pen cap. The next piece I'm really not sure what it's called, so I'm just gonna call it the globe bracket. I didn't glue this piece on, I wanted it to be able to move so you could turn the globe different directions. But I still needed to make sure that it wasn't gonna come off. I cut it pretty short but not to the plastic and then glued on a wood bead. I had to drill the hole just a bit bigger because the bead hole was not big enough. This is what it looks like so far, but I have a little bit more prep work to do to the globe before it's ready to go on. Before I got this far into the project, I did attempt to cut that bottom piece of the Christmas bulb off. However, I didn't have a vise to put it in and the cut was starting to go sideways, and I was starting to get the, "Are you sure you should be doing that?" look from my husband. So the only way that I could figure to hide it and make it kind of match was to cover it with this fake leather sticky stuff that I got from Dollar Tree. The better idea would be to just paint it black. I'm not sure why I didn't do that in the first place. Oh well, this worked just as well. Now it's time to put the globe on. I didn't glue it in because I still want it to be able to spin once it's put together. I did try to put a bead at the top end so it kind of matched with the bottom, but I didn't like it, so I ended up taking it off and leaving it out. To make sure that the globe is held on and still spins, I drilled 2 more tiny beads and put them on the ends. And the last thing to do was go over the post and the beads with a coat of black paint. And with that, it brings us to the end of our tutorial. I really hope this gives you ideas for your next project. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button. I am 1 subscriber away from 500. And if you're new here, go back and check out my other videos. You may find something you like. I did add lights to the first 2 floors of the house, but I ran out of wood and it didn't go as expected. So there's a few things that I need to change before I'm ready to say that my plan worked. Not to mention, I'm not sure how to finish the upstairs. If you have thoughts or ideas, let me know down in the comments. Thank you, Ginger, and I'll see you next time.